Hey everyone! On the last video, my husband Ryan asked me his top 10 questions on my thoughts and concerns and just my overall feeling on the tiny house living. So for this video, I'm going to be giving him 10 questions right back. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. First question. What does having a tiny home represent to you?
To me, it represents that you are living the life that you feel like that's most comfortable for you. You're not buying into, oh, I need a big house. I need all this stuff to be for myself to say I've made it in life. Which for some people, if that's the way they want to live, that's fine for them. But to me personally, I don't want stuff in my life. I want experiences. And so it allows me to do that. In a tiny home, in our situation, I can have a small home and make it really nice, or we can have a larger home and everything is just kind of lower tier quality. And so we can live a life that we're comfortable with. We don't have to worry about as much. And to me, that means I've been successful in life. Not because I have stuff, but I always have loans and debt and things like that to pay off constantly all the stuff I want to fill my house with.
Okay, so it's not about necessarily a status thing. It's just how you personally want to like to live.
It's everyone's own personal status of success, and everyone might have a different criteria of what that means. So if a tiny house with more outside experiences is that, then that's what it is. But if you want and can afford a larger house to have all that stuff, and that to you makes you happy, then that's what makes you happy. So to me, a tiny home represents doing what you need to do to make you and your family happy.
Okay. Next question. What are some of the benefits for you of having a tiny home?
Benefits are financial freedom, lower cost of maintenance for keeping the house. The idea that the way we're having our tiny home, if we ever do have to sell the property we're on, we can move that house to some other place if we ever have the need to do it.
That's a good one.
We don't have to buy a new whole house. We have to buy the land wherever we find land that we like, put the house on it. So what was the benefits?
Yeah.
And just having less to worry about, I guess, overall.
Okay. What is your favorite thing about living in a tiny home?
Well, I haven't lived in a tiny home yet, so I'm not sure. But I think my favorite thing would be the idea that everything in that house has a real purpose and a real meaning to it.
Okay.
Instead of having, white noise kind of space in your house, every inch is dedicated to something that must be really important to you.
Okay. What would you think would be your least favorite thing about living in a tiny home?
I think for me, it's the storage. You don't know what hobbies, things might come up, children, things like that. And so being able to convert that tiny house into future living situations that might come up.
Okay. What would be something that you wish tiny homes would probably have but doesn't?
What I wish they had but don't have? I think in our situation, I don't see every tiny home has a bedroom area.
Yeah.
Every tiny room has usually a kitchen that's functional. They all have a bathroom. I think the thing that they are really missing is that entertainment space.
Yeah.
It's that space that's big
true.
enough, not just for you to sit on a couch and watch TV. They usually can accommodate that. But we're in Florida. It gets really hot. There are really bad mosquitoes most of the year. So outside isn't always an option. So where can you have people come over, like your family, my family, when they visit, can they come in, we can entertain them in the tiny house, and everybody be comfortable. And that's just hard to do in a tiny home.
Yeah.
Usually they solve that by doing outdoor space. And so we might have to get clever about using outdoor space or using the other house on the property that's already here. when they come and visit, they'll probably stay at that house anyway. So if we're all just hanging around, relaxing, we'll do it in the house that's already there. But if it's just for a tiny house in general, I think it's having that indoor entertainment space that's really hard to get sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think a lot of times you have to have like a huge, like pretty outdoor area because the inside doesn't really entertain comfortably with more than 2 people.
Yeah, and when, like for your bedroom, when you get into bed and you're in your bed, you just need your bedroom to be the size of your bed.
Yeah.
Once you're in bed.
Yeah.
When you're in the bathroom, you're just in the bathroom. Yes, a large bathroom might be more comfortable, but for utilitarian purposes, once you're in the bathroom and you're in the shower is all you need at that time.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in the kitchen, you just need that kitchen space at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But entertaining, all of a sudden you need space for several bodies in that place at one time. And how do you entertain people so that everybody's comfortable and not, you don't want everyone to feel like you're in a small booth at a restaurant hanging out. You want to have a living room feel. And I think that's the hardest thing for a tiny house to accomplish.
What made you decide to do a tiny home?
We moved out here, and our whole goal was we're moving out here to find jobs that we love to do, not that we work just to get the paycheck for.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that I am in a job that I actually do love doing, it doesn't bring as much money as I used to have, but I love going to work every day. I come home every day and I'm in a great mood from doing my work. So having a tiny home allows us to continue those pursuits, still put money aside for retirement, still allow us to go on trips and have these experiences instead of always trying to chase the debt, finish paying it off.
Mm-hmm.
If we can live in a way where we're not chasing debt all the time, then we can have those careers and those jobs that we enjoy doing.
There's always something you have to pay catch up on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right now, we don't have any debt or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, and we're living the idea that we have no debt right now. So how comfortable has this been?
Mm-hmm.
We're not having to worry about really anything at all. So now we just have to find a way to live and continue that debt-free life.
Yeah. Compared to a traditional tiny home, what are some of the differences that you feel like won't be such a stress issue or bothersome to you?
I don't understand.
Like if compared to a traditional home, what are some things that tiny home gives you that's not necessarily as much stress as a traditional home would give you?
I think for one, the maintenance. The tiny house is small enough to where you can either do the work yourself or it won't be expensive to do the work, especially like you're going to replace the roof.
Mm-hmm.
On a tiny house, it won't nearly be the cost of doing it on a normal size roof. Many things in a tiny house, it's very kind of craftsman oriented where you do a lot of the work yourself. So you know everything about how that house is operating, and then it allows you to go in and fix it yourself. Mm-hmm. And we are really in the idea of we want to do a lot of the work ourselves. We've done a lot of work in our old house that was a traditional home ourselves. And so we're not scared of doing that work. And in a tiny home, it's small enough where you can do that without needing really the big equipment that you might need in a big house to do that kind of work. And so that maintenance and upkeep, I think, are the main, that's where I really see the differences in.
Yeah. Okay. How do you think your parents would feel about the tiny home?
My mom, like your dad, thinks, if this makes you happy, that's a lifestyle you want to live, because she sees now, she did stuff her parents couldn't believe that she was doing, but it made her happy.
Right. And
so now we're doing things that the past generation can't believe it's going on, but our generation realizes, this is the world changes.
That's so
This
true.
is the world that we're living in now. So this might be what you need to do to accomplish certain goals, depending on what those goals are. So I think she'll be understanding of that. My dad, no, he's more of the you need these things to show you're successful. And if you have those, you're happy. And that's where kind of he is. And so this does not fit the criteria of this allows you to be a happy
The status thing you're talking about
lifestyle.
before.
Yeah. So yeah, this is not, he's going to be a harder person to sell. But I think once he sees it, because he's never been inside one before.
Okay.
Once he sees it in person, he's going to understand, I get it now. It's just when he's going to have to see it first in person. You won't be able to explain it to him. I don't think you'll be able to show him diagrams or pictures of other tiny homes. It's until you're in it, he's not going to understand. And so, I mean, he's done that with car brands. He never understood why he would want a certain car brand until he got in that car. You could show him all the great stuff about a car brand
on paper
because he's so brand oriented. But once he got in that car, then he clicked and he understood.
Yeah.
And this is going to be the same thing until he gets in it and he sees it and he sees what we can do now that we're in that lifestyle. Then it'll finally click.
What's available to us now?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point. Okay. Last question. From a scale of 1 to 10, how happy do you see our family being in a tiny home? Me, you, and the dog.
The dog? I think dog will be happy because she only needs about this much space.
No matter where she is, yeah.
She needs that much space to be happy. As long as it's on top of us, she'll be fine. I think we will be probably, I think around a 7 or 8 starting out. Once we're in it and we're living, we kind of figure out, okay, this is how this works. I think it'll go up because by that time we'll be living in it, but then we'll see the benefits starting to pay off for it.
That's true.
Once you start seeing the benefits pay off, where you're like, oh, every month, you know, we have no bills. Every month we can do something. We can go out to eat whenever we feel like it. We don't have to worry about that stuff. If we have a child, we're not stressing about taking care of the child now with everything else. So I think it'll be about 7 or 8 starting out because you get that first honeymoon vibe of being in a new house. It's your own. It's 100% yours, and you're making it exactly what you want it to be. But then as time moves on, you'll start realizing the benefits of, okay, if something were to happen, if there are emergencies, we're not worried about how we can afford to get through those emergencies.
Okay.
And so
that makes sense.
That when we start seeing those benefits pay off, then that's really going to be where we see the, you know, why we did this and why we made this decision.
Okay. All right. So, all right, y'all. That's our video about our questions about tiny homes and Ryan's thoughts and concerns and his just overall opinion on being in a tiny home in general. So, thank you and see you next time. Thanks again for watching, guys. Look out for more videos coming soon.
If you enjoyed that, please check out our other videos as well as subscribing to our channel. Thanks.
Bye.